All right, let's get to our second game, and I'll ask you guys a question first. Do you know who is number one in the NFL in points scored?
Who's number one in points scored?
Yep,
Carolina, 30 a game.
You are correct. Who would have thought that? All we've talked about the last few years is the Carolina Panthers defense. They're number one in the NFL in points scored. So I guess we have to tip our cap to Cam Newton, who has had, he has had some detractors over the last couple of years, but not so this year. 13-0 record. Only got 3 games to go in the regular season. Do they push it and go for the undefeated mark? Well, they've been covering games. They've been winning. This is now 17 in a row. Got a terrific 10-3 spread mark. They have coming into this one with also a top 3 defense in the league. Just had no trouble on Sunday. 38-0 blowout win over another sinking team, the Atlanta Falcons. And look at their final 3 games: at the Giants, at Atlanta, and then home against Tampa Bay. So it is possible for them to go 16-0. Got to believe this is the big one here. So, Harvard, you think they're going to do well in this matchup? And like you mentioned earlier, do they want to think about health, which may be taking this game off?
Well, Cam is such a stud. I don't think they're going to do anything to play around him to protect him from getting hurt and things like that. How many Super Bowls have there been? Let's say there's 40 or 42. I don't even remember how many there are.
50 even.
50 even. Okay, there's been 50 Super Bowl winners. There's only been one undefeated team. I could not tell you all 50 Super Bowl winners, but I could tell you the 72 Dolphins. So I think that is one thing that, if you want to be known as a team for the rest of your life, I think you just go undefeated in the for the whole thing. So let's go all out. It should be an all-out war. I mean, look what they did last week against Atlanta, 38-0. Look what they've done in the month of December recently, 26-12-1 against the spread. Why? Well, they got a top 3 offense and defense. Their chemistry is incredible. Cam Newton is probably one of the best leaders that I've seen in NFL. He keeps it loose. He keeps it fun. And nobody has more fun playing than he does. There's no locker room tiffs and things like that. The coach is absolutely incredible. He's doing a great job. So I think they just go forward, and I think they're going to go undefeated the entire season. As far as this game tonight, you're laying 5 points. You're on the road. The Giants looked like world beaters last night against Miami, winning 31-24. But they came out with some injuries. Manning, I think he had his best performance in years with a 151 quarterback rating. He was 27 of 31 for 337 yards, 4 touchdown passes. Otis Beckham, he's just going to run down the middle, but the safeties are going to be looking the other way and give him 84-yard touchdown. Well, anyway, he had 166 yards, 2 TDs. Right now, the Giants, they're tied for first, but so are 2 other teams. But, they lost their offensive left tackle. He's out. Their defensive tackle got hurt. Their defensive end had a concussion. They're playing on a short week. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe it's set up to where Washington, Philly, and the Giants can all lose this week, and they're still in first place. So with that being said, I'm going to lay the 5. I'm going to push for Carolina until they show me something different. I'm going to go ahead and be one of those spread grabbers and get on their bandwagon again.
Well, you might think a team from the Deep South might have trouble in the month of December heading up to these cold weather stadiums at times, but Carolina's been covering too. 26-12-1 against the spread in December. They're also 5-1 ATS on the road, so they're doing it every possible way. Then you got this Giants team off the Monday night game. Pretty strong numbers for quarterback Eli Manning, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Tremendous passing game, but really that's all they've been able to do. They can't run. The defense has been terrible, and there they are, 3 teams in this NFC least division, all 6 and 7 for first place, so they certainly have plenty to play for. So, Zach, you can't ignore the awful defense, but they are home and do have something to play for.
Yeah, the Giants, they pulled out the great win against Miami, but there's 2 things that stood out to me and why Miami lost that game. One, well, I was 3 things. Ryan Tannehill, the quarterback play, still poor. The defense just could not make a stop. And then the penalties. They had 12 penalties for 120 yards. All 3 of those factors will not be the case for this Carolina Panthers team. They're disciplined with Ron Rivera. Cam Newton's obviously having an MVP season, and the defense is going to challenge Eli Manning. He's not going to complete 27 of 31 passes and just have a heyday with Odell Beckham Jr. With that being said, I still think there's value on the Giants in this game. I can't remember last year's matchup, but I believe they played last year. And I know that they played 2 years prior in a Thursday night game where Cam Newton had one of his worst games as an NFL quarterback, and the Giants steamrolled them. So there's some familiarity with both teams. And with Tom Coughlin, people will give him flack, but especially in these division games and against opponents that he's familiar with, he's going to make sure this team is prepared, and they know Cam Newton real well. And 13-0, all of a sudden now, all the attention. Every time there's attention on a team going undefeated, that's when the loss happens. All season long, everyone was not paying attention to the Carolina Panthers. Suddenly, they get a 38-0 win, and now everybody's saying, here's the possibility, here's the possibility. They're going to go 16-0. They've got the weakest schedule, last 3 games, no brainer, no brainer, no brainer. But this is exactly the moment when a loss occurs. So I would be cautious with Carolina going up to New York. With New York's pattern of winning late in the season, they're going to play carefree like they did against the Dolphins, and I think that they'll have a chance to win this outright and not just with the points.
All right, yeah, they did. They didn't play last year, but 2 years ago,
No,
2012,
okay,
they played. Both games were at Carolina. The Giants won 36-7 as a 2.5-point dog, and then 2013 was a rematch. Giants were favored slight, and they lost 38-0. So, and that was also Coughlin's team. So, yeah, they do have quite a bit of a recent history.
2012, my goodness.
Yeah, 2012 and 13, they played back-to-back. This Giants team has been very good over the total with this suspect defense, the great passing offense, 8-4-1 over. But they do have the great coaching staff. And I'm going to take a situational look here at Carolina. They end the season playing 4 of their final 6 games on the road. This will be their 3rd road game in 4 weeks as part of a stretch, playing 4 of 5 away. So that's also going to add to the road travel, the wariness, in addition to taking on the undefeated talk. And that's a difficult thing for Carolina to be hanging at this point. And if anybody can hang with the Giants, why not Tom Coughlin and Eli Manning? You go back 8 years ago, they played the Patriots, who were 15-0 on the last week of the regular season. It was a phenomenal game. They had a chance to win it. It was close all the way. And then they did beat them finally in the Super Bowl, knocking them off. And then we saw them play a 10-0 team just a couple weeks ago at home against the Pats. They should have won the game. The guy dropped an interception late, but it was their best game of the season. So for whatever reason, Coughlin and this staff and Eli, they can get up when these marquee matchups come aboard. They don't always play well against the mediocre or bad teams, but we do see them a lot. And I think it comes right from the coaching staff. So with that said, I give the Giants a chance to hang within this number of 5. Could they win the game straight up? Yeah, and I'll go ahead and say it. This is where the Carolina streak ends. Giants win the game straight up, take them on the points and the money line, and that'll actually be good for Carolina. They won't have to deal with it anymore. They can focus on playing hard in the playoffs as opposed to having 16-0, 17-0, 18-0 hanging over their heads. All right, let's tell you what we have going on for the week at Harvard. Your top plays are these 10-star releases. You often put 1 or 2 together in a package, now 21-10, as well as 63% overall with all football plays for the season. How can folks get those this weekend?
Well, here's what I'm holding in my hand. In fact, if you look at this.
A bowl sheet.
A bowl sheet. The college bowl games, 40 bowl games, and boy, do I have a package. You know what? I want you to get every single bowl game, all rated. They're all rated. I got them all lined up right now, 7 stars and the 10 stars and the 10-star games of the year. You're going to get every game starting on this Saturday on the 19th with BYU, Utah. They're playing right here in the Las Vegas Bowl, going all the way through January the 2nd, finishing with that big matchup, TCU versus Oregon, where they'll probably have 85 points scored in that. But you'll get every single game. Now, I've hit 70% for the year. These are all super games. I've done a lot of handicapping on them right now, so you can get them before the lines move and things like that. If I was to hit 70% for this, you would win 28 games, lose 12, so plus or minus 1 or 2 games here or there, but you would end up about 16 units to the good. If the average bettor that's watching this show is betting $300 a game, and you're 16 units to the good, that's almost $5,000. So you would expect to pay probably, $1,500 for that, 3 times your money in 2 weeks. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm putting them out for $4 per game. It's $160 for the entire bowl game package. So just go right there to jimfeist.com. I guess you're already there. Click on Harvard, and you'll have all 40 games at once. You won't have to come back every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and twice on Saturday. They're all there, all 40 of them. You get them with one click, all 40 of them just to download right there, and they'll all be rated the 7 stars insiders, the 10 stars high rollers, and the 10-star bowl game of the year. So get that, and also on Sunday I'll be having my total of the year. It's a 10-star play, strong over and under action on that in the NFL Sunday.
All right, it's a great time for football and betting with NFL stretch run as well as college football bowl games. Zach, you don't put plays out every day. You're very careful to look for spots that you like. You passed on the Army-Navy game Saturday, but you're 41-26. In college football this season, 37-18-1 in the NFL. Got some plays coming up for this weekend too.
Yeah, 42-26 in college football, but it's roughly about 55 to 60 plays in both sports for a total season. We're talking about 3-4 month span now, so it's roughly 4 to 5 plays a week. That's probably where I'll stay in the NFL. College football, I haven't even come close to finalizing the board. Last year was a rough bowl season. Other 4 years prior were very good, so I'm looking to bounce back in bowl season and keep my percentage at 63-64%, maybe even raise it a couple notches. But yeah, once I finalize the bowl games, I will post those up on jimfeist.com. I'm not sure how many games it'll be, so I won't put a price tag on it just yet, but it will be a good bowl season as I like the matchups that I'm seeing so far. NFL, this is definitely a tricky week. Week 15 is you've got to analyze it from several different aspects. One, teams that are going to start mailing it in, which the San Francisco 49ers are on my radar for that against the Bengals, who are just -4, but that's not finalized just yet. And teams that are mailing it in, teams making a playoff push, and players contending for their job. So there's a lot of different aspects there before the turnover begins in the off season that you need to look out for, and plus injuries are still piling up. So it's going to be a good weekend. 37-18-1 in the NFL. I forget what percentage that is, but I think it's about 65%, 66%. Just looking to finish the season strong.
That is a winning percentage. I don't know if you guys saw the coach of the 49ers is actually waving a white flag on the field during the game Sunday. I wonder if that's going to be the finale for the season. Jim Feist off a terrific weekend, 9-2 with all plays on Saturday, 3-1 with high rollers on Sunday. He also hit his AFC West game of the month. That was the Oakland Raiders. Straight up winner as a dog. Right now at jimfeist.com, he has his TV Showdown game of the month. He also has his NFL total of the year. You can find that play at jimfeist.com or just call 1-855-846-7426. All right, that'll do it for the NFL version of Proline from Las Vegas. Good luck with the games, everyone, and we'll see you next week.